Good morning, everybody. Happy December 1st.
Good morning.
They're just getting on. I have like 10 different ones open.
What's that?
I have
You
like
only-
10
Yeah.
different
We
Katie
only see
Ruttons
one of
open.
you, Katie Rutton.
I know there's like 10 of me. I'm sorry.
That would be great.
Yeah, 10. You didn't get to see me for like 5 months, and now there's like 10 of me.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
There you are.
Zoom. What Zoom? I don't know.
What is this newfangled technology of which
How does it work?
I am going to mute while I get coffee because this meeting is going to be really rough if I do not get some caffeine flowing.
Please get all
You
the
scared me for a second, like I was girding my loins.
Hi, Paul.
How are you, Katie?
Fabulous.
You are
great.
fabulous.
Thanks. What's new? What are you up to lately?
Oh, packing my mother-in-law. She's moving to Golden, so down in Pueblo West.
Oh,
And she went to visit Kevin's sister for a while, but she didn't have everything done, and she moves one day.
that's where you come in.
It's kind of scary,
Yeah.
right? I didn't think we were gonna have to do anything. We were just supposed to come here and watch doggies and play around.
We're supposed to be having
It's
fun.
We're supposed to be having fun.
What?
I'm
This
mad.
isn't fun.
Oh, well, I'm glad she's moving to Golden. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, well, that's really
what
nice.
did I do? What did you do?
Not a whole lot. We're done in Denver finally. So, yeah.
Oh, are
so I've
you?
taken the last month to like recuperate and get it together. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to be back at home.
Change your hair.
Yep. I'm looking for a Tomb
bet.
Raider look.
I
like
love
a
it.
Tomb Raider woman that's going to come assassin or slay your family, I guess.
I've never played, nor have I seen, but I've seen the ad pictures. They're pretty.
Well, thanks. But
She's kind of hot,
she
scary.
is. That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Isn't she? She's the one with the short hair and like the skin tight clothing, and looks like she could just murder you.
I've still got the baggy clothing
awesome.
intact, but we've got the haircut. So
that rocks.
Yeah.
Format? We don't.
Hey, everybody. We have an attendee that's just a phone number. I'm not sure who it is.
Is it 1191?
Yeah.
That's Kevin.
Okay, thanks.
I'm like, let me look up the phone number.
He's calling in because he has to leave at some point.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That makes sense. Then in that case, we do appear to have a quorum. I'll wait for Kevin to get promoted. And I think I saw Kyle getting on. So we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. All right, good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, December 1st, and this is the Georgetown Business Promotions Commission. I call the meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Hey, Chairman Amanda Cooper, excuse me.
Here.
Steve Skalski.
Here.
Paul Boat.
Here.
Mary Smith.
Here.
Katie Rutten.
Here.
Kyle Rutten.
Here.
And Kevin Kuharik. I know he's muted. I'm not sure. Can talk? Looks like on my end he can, but I'm not sure. Anyway, we see that he's
Yeah,
trying to be here.
he's attempting an attendance. So the only other thing, Jen, I don't see Nancy Hale yet. I'm gonna resend her the link really fast. I'm trying to see the best way to send it to her. Have you talked to Nancy at all, Jen? Why?
Not about coming to this meeting. I sent her a link to a couple email addresses and
Let me just text her because she's first on the agenda. Okay. Well, while we're doing that, while we are getting Nancy, good morning, everybody. So let me pull up the agenda. I apologize because I just lost it while I was texting her. One amendment to the agenda today, I would like to discuss the possibility of a joint work session with all of the different events putting on groups in Q1 of 2022. Are there any other amendments to the agenda before we get a motion for approval and jump in? All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended, please?
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carried. All right. Audience business. Members of the audience will have 5 minutes to present any matter of concern to the commission. No official action will be taken at this time. I do not see anybody in the audience that is here. So we do not appear to have any audience business. Any welcome to new business owners? Is there anything happening that we're not aware of? I think it's pretty status quo. Go ahead, Paul. What were you going to say?
Nothing. It's just the business owners thing.
Is there anyone I didn't know about?
Oh, owners. It drives me
Oh, I'm
nuts.
sorry. It's how it's on the agenda. I
Yeah.
apologize.
I know it needs to be pulled off because, and by the way, the reason it bothers me so much is I've had it used against me and that I'm not an owner. And I happen to manage businesses in this town, as does another member of this group. And so we need to not concentrate on ownership, but on leadership of businesses.
That's
It's a thing.
for
Sorry.
2022. I think the reason I think it's written like that is because if somebody comes and opens a business, that's who they're discussing.
Sure, but
and
their
so-
manager can do the same. So,
Absolutely. Any new businesses, we can frame it
yeah,
that way.
thank you. Sorry, it's just, that's why I winced.
All good. Any new businesses? I don't think there is. So if that is the case, then we will carry on to new business. But our first order of new business is Nancy Hale, and she is not here yet. So we will skip her until she appears. I do know that HGI needs a little bit of money from us for something happening this weekend. I can't place my finger on it. What is coming up? I just can't remember. Oh yeah, it's Christmas market. But in the meantime, we'll jump right into the Bighorn Sheep Festival review. I will let Jordan and Mr. Paul Boat take that. I apologize I wasn't here, but I heard it was a really great event.
Jen, unless you want to jump in.
No, go ahead. You can.
We had I think that the attendance at the Sheep Festival, we don't do an actual count. So the attendance at the Sheep Festival, though, by just looking at the numbers that were there or just looking at the people that were there, it seemed to be about half of 19. But 19 was the biggest year we ever had, and it was incredibly windy. We had to shut down the fire at one point. However, I think it was very successful, and we ended up with Urban Media. We were in 9 News. We ended up in the Christian Science Monitor. So we had some national news coverage of it. We were able to expand our partners and our collaborators for the event. I mean, the main partners are still the the town, wildlife, and us, or the trust, and then the collaborators are the library and the Hotel de Paris, and we had the CCMRD this year, and we had Kimberly Knox and her outdoor adventure company involved. So we were able to do a fun run. The wind kind of killed that, but I think that CCMRD is still interested in continuing with it. We'll double check on that next year. Kimberly Knox did have people on her sheep viewing tours. The sheep did cooperate. They came down again. Wildlife's always really good about finding them. So we had fun with that. The Hokey Pokey was a blast. We had to do it twice because of requests. The library ran out of their kits, and the kids were doing all of their building kits and their little sheep making things. So our activities went well. The vendors were happy. They had a rake-in day. We had some local vendors who decided to do pop-ups, like Sable. And thank you to everybody, including Sable, for doing that. I hear that they did much better there even than they normally. They just had a really wonderful day. The visitor center did a pop-up, and the people from there had a great time. They did decent money as well as the other vendors, and then the wildlife for the informational services. And then the biggest turnout ever for the lecture happened too. So the Department of Wildlife is really thrilled about that. And that's because it was held at the Hotel de Paris. Also because Joe, our wildlife officer, Joe Walter, is awesome. So all in all, I think it was incredibly, incredibly successful. And I do think that we will have even greater turnout next year, weather permitting, and with getting the advertising out now, that we're not panicking again, or we might, who knows, but about whether or not we can safely do it. We'll start the advertising. We're going to have a post-mortem, I think, next month, and then we will start our planning for next year. So, and Wilder made an appearance too, although Wilder seemed like he was a little under the weather. And thanks to Rob Solomon for the music. So, thank you.
That pretty much covers it on my end. I don't have much to add, although we did have our first really successful food truck in Georgetown post ordinance, and they were really excited to be there and super excited to come back whenever we'll let them. So that was good addition on the vendor side. Otherwise, everything Paul said.
Delicious cobbler.
What? Delicious cobbler. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry that we weren't here to partake. We pulled out of town right as Wilder was making his appearance in Strauss Park, and it looked like the vibe was amazing. So,
Yeah,
really
the food truck. Sorry, Amanda. The food truck was parked right across from the brewery, and I found that the cobbler really cut into my beer sales. So I'm officially complaining about that.
Note 2 minutes. Steve is complaining. Actually, no, don't put that in the minutes. Awesome. Well, I'm glad it was a good event, and it's obviously kind of goes to show that this weekend is going to be quite the. I think this weekend is going to be a bananas Christmas market, and I know we have a lot to discuss on that, so we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and take up the next. Are we good with Bighorn Sheep, guys? Before I move on, I don't want to rush us onto tree lighting. So tree lighting is obviously not 100% our event. It is primarily put on by Parks and Rec with our support. All in all, it was a good tree lighting. There was a couple of small opportunities for next year, but with it being Jen's first tree lighting, hopefully we can get that communication opened up with whomever's running it next year a little bit sooner. I think we had some struggles last year too with like, who turns the lights on? There's kind of those little disconnects that are occurring and little behind the scenes stuff. Jen, if you want to go ahead and tackle that, and then we can talk about our observations and what to do for next year.
Sure. Well, having never seen it before, I thought it was adorable and wonderful, and the turnout was amazing. Weather cooperated, which was super awesome. Just little things that, I don't know till I know. If I don't know, that can be improved for next year for sure. But I feel like we worked it out as we went, and made happen what we needed to happen. And I have some great takeaways now that I've been a part of it and seen it, and we'll have a little bit better strategy for next year. But again, I loved it. I thought it was great, but I've never seen it before. So that's my newbie opinion.
I know hopefully going into next year, there's some little stuff like, for example, with the school, the kids hadn't sang together in 2 years, like the kids that did the singing. So normally what happens is Coraloo volunteers their time and actually spends, starting in October, goes to the school 3 times a week and starts singing carols with the kids. They were able to get her permission to do that, but it's very strict with the state right now that no one can go into a school unless there is a really good reason for, the whole pandemic thing that's happening. So she wasn't able to practice with the kids at all. So that is something that hopefully will be resolved by Christmas market a little bit. They'll be a little bit stronger. So that group of kids was the group of kids that knew the carols. And then there was some kindergartners out there that just showed up for fun. It did not, and it was cute. And so the kids also, we couldn't get to their robes because we didn't have a key to the school. So nobody was able to get to the Santa Lucia robes, but they will have those for this weekend. So that will be resolved. All in all, go ahead, Steve.
One thing I wanted to bring up is a lack of our Alpine hose bell ringing. Would have really have been nice with all those people downtown for the tree lighting to hear the bell. Is there any update on when that bell will be operational again on a permanent basis?
I don't have one. Jen, have you heard anything?
I haven't. I can try to contact him today and see where it's at.
I know that they've been working on it. Mary's shaking her head. No, they haven't been working on it. Mary's making claw faces. What's happening? Select person Smith.
I really don't have any update. I think Jen Yabsky is probably has more, perhaps our, not to take it away from Jen, but maybe our town admin needs to get in on this too. So, we've got the money. The town supports any type of maintenance needs for that Alpine hose. It's in our budget every year, and it's not fixed. So, yes, it grinds me.
I will put a note on mine to maybe also follow up, and good point, Steve. And again, on that, we would be remiss to not thank Mr. Rob Solomon for his efforts again in that event. I had no idea Christy Morel could sing like that. That was really cool to see the two of them together. They did an amazing job. So huge kudos to their performance. There was some feedback on the lighting and the sound for next year. I don't know if that's something that we can necessarily manage from our end, because it is obviously, that gets to a third entity, but it is worth noting for next year to try and maybe work on that and improve it so that we can have a better visual. Or I'm honestly, I would be more concerned about the speeches, the sound speeches. Hey, Jen, do you know if Steve is joining us this morning? Just because since there's a couple things that maybe we should have him help us follow up on.
He's driving in this morning. He got his COVID shots yesterday, so he's probably not going to be here.
No worries, that's all good. I'll send him an email after this, so no big deal. All right, anything else on tree lighting? All right, well, let's jump to the good stuff. Christmas market. Mary, I've texted Nancy twice. I don't know.
I've tried too, and she's not responding to me either, but,
I mean, I
So-
can run next door and bang on her door.
I think that she
We'll give it
can,
a little time.
that or she can make her appeal at our first meeting in January. We haven't
Okay.
closed the books yet, so.
Okay. Actually, I don't know. Mary Sims would probably say that could be
Too late.
tight. That could be too late.
So-
Okay. All right, go ahead and I will let you take the floor and get through all of the details for this weekend.
So we have several vendors, let's say about a dozen vendors who are going to set up a sneak peek on the Fridays before Christmas market. So in 2 days, they're going to be in Strauss Park. They know that we're not having any other festivities other than them being there. So it's just kind of a trial run, but we're hoping that people on their way to other destinations in the mountains will be stopping in Georgetown. It has been pretty busy this week when I've been down there scoping things out. So maybe with the nice weather and everything, that'll continue, or a little snow. Otherwise, let's see, entertainment will all be outside on library stage, starting at noon every day. The Santa Lucia Singers, St. Nicholas will be there. We have carolers that will be on stage and singing in the streets, dancers, etc. We have 2 outdoor marketplaces, the one in Strauss Park, and then we have 8 or 9 vendors will be set up in the 400 block of 6th Street, starting at the Happy Cookers, and then down to Town Hall area. The Horse and Wagon will be operating also down there. Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, next weekend, 10 to 5. The Roundabout will be providing a free shuttle to our guests. We are meeting, or at least I'm meeting, maybe Nancy is meeting also this afternoon, so we can run the route with them. And they will be passing out brochures and letting people know what they can do as far as the events go. What else can I answer for you guys? You're pretty embedded in this, you know what's going on. Oh, Bighorn Book Nook is in the community center. Someone mentioned to me outside of this meeting yesterday that the county might be implementing a mask ordinance again effective Friday.
That's my comment.
That won't affect us because we're all outdoors, but that might be something that, and I know Kevin already expects that at the hotel, and Hamel House also will do that for tours. So I think that's not really going to be much of a deal. The bonfire obviously is not going to be a part of it because of the fire ban. We were going to steal the idea from Bighorn Sheep and do the marshmallows, but I don't think roasting a marshmallow on a barbecue grill a propane grill is necessarily the same ambiance as a bonfire, but I'd certainly take all your opinions on that. So that's about it.
So the mask mandate was one of the things that I was going to ask about. The other thing that I've had random customers starting to message us about is the entertainment schedule. And I truthfully didn't have a chance to look this up. I got 2 messages yesterday and 1 today for people asking about the bagpipe band.
Yeah, they're, let's
And-
see. Let me see if I can look at my handy dandy schedule here and tell you when they are. The Denver Pipe Band will be playing Sunday, December 5th at 1 o'clock.
Okay. So I don't know why people are messaging me. It's very odd.
Because you know everything, Amanda. Has
No,
everybody
this is
gotten
like
these
the
brochures
restaurant.
in your-
Like this
in your
is
shops
super
and
weird.
your locations? Have you guys gotten these? One of the representatives from HGI was passing these out supposedly a week or so ago. So it has the schedule of events, and it lists all the artisans and the different museums, and the bus route. So yeah, the schedule.
I will add that schedule of events to the event calendar also. I've also had a couple of inquiries like that in the last 24 hours and just realized that brochure schedule of events is not listed like that on the events calendar. So I'll add that
I'm
in
stopping.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Can Town Hall have some of those brochures? That would be cool.
I will bring you some today.
deal.
That's odd that you don't.
Is
Sorry
it,
about that.
is the schedule of events anywhere on, like, is there like a link to like the Christmas market website at all, or is the schedule of events online anywhere at this time?
It's not on the HGI website. It is on the county tourism website. And then, like Jen said, she's gonna make sure that it's on our Visit Georgetown one.
I'll put it all the places I can think of to put it beyond that one.
Kyle
so.
did do the banner for us. Yes, when I emailed him yesterday, so that has been handled. But I don't know if we want to maybe try and link up to, sorry, I hate talking without video, but I keep getting a yell at from my internet. It's mad today. If we wanted to maybe, if like, is it even possible to like scan like a PDF of just the entertainment schedule, or save something, or QR code it or something so we could link it somehow? I'm gonna put up like a big laminated copy at the host stand so we can talk to people about it this weekend, and we have some, but just to be able to refer people to their phones too for when they're in town. Is that possible? I know we're kind of late in the game on that, but I think people are coming to Christmas market for real.
I wouldn't rely, unfortunately, on the Historic Georgetown website. That seems to be a struggle for that to be current information. So if Jen, if you could put stuff on the Visit Georgetown page, I think that would be the most beneficial for everyone to have.
I'll put it on the page, and I'll also just post some links to that page. I mean, as much as, and I was going to say this in my update on other things, but as much as we can continue to drive traffic to that events page, my standard pretty much answer for anyone who asks me about events is to direct them there. Granted, that information is not there right now, but I will get it there ASAP, and then continue to direct it in all of the other sites that we post on to go there for that information, and it'll be there. If anybody still has any of the postcards lying around with the QR code on the back, that is a live link to that events page. I can also probably post that QR code, Amanda, or let me think about it, and Kyle, you might have some input here, but let me think about the best way to do that. But just to keep people driving there to find out that information is really the goal.
The brochures look really good, and I think the bus route's super helpful. Definitely, I think it will be highly utilized. I think one of the things that we want to maybe try and track, and I don't know how it's even possible, and this is like a really tall ask of the roundabout people, but it would be ideal to try and find out where they're pulling the most people from, so we know for next year. Basically what I'm getting at is, are we getting people who are like getting on the bus, like the majority of the people, are they riding from the lake to 6th Street? Or are there people that are utilizing the transportation to go all through town? I'm assuming most of it's going to come off of the lake, but I would be curious, like where people are leaving their cars, what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? I know it's kind of a big ask.
They know, they actually do keep track of at least the count and everything. And I'm sure the drivers, just from anecdotal information, can kind of share that with us. I thought you were asking, where do they come from? Like, are they coming from Denver? Are they coming from Colorado?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, I think they'll be able to tell us that, but
Disneyland, where they ask your zip code when you walk in? No, nothing.
yeah, we will have copies of the brochures in the bus, and we're meeting with the drivers this afternoon so that we can kind of verbally tell them what's going on and try to build up that excitement, as opposed to just handing a brochure type thing. Can you hear me over my barking dogs? Okay. I can yell at them, but then I would be yelling at you. But if we could get that QR code, maybe even post it on the bus, if I could meet up with you and get that, so that people, when they're sitting on the bus who might not pick up a paper brochure, because they're not paper people, they're somebody else kind of people, could tune on that. I mean, that would be awesome. So if you can help me with that, Jen, since you've got that updated. And that doesn't have to be done by this afternoon when we meet with them, because we can give that to them, anytime before Saturday morning with the bus. So
It's easy to do because it's already created, so I should be able to get it to you this
you.
afternoon.
Okay. Everything else on the subject of Christmas market that we can support.
Oh, so just FYI, no food trucks. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you stopped.
No.
So
I froze really bad for like probably a minute, 30 seconds there. So if I'm redundant, it's because I didn't hear anything anybody said there.
Okay, so we aren't having any food trucks. I know Steve Skalski at the brewery is going to be selling chili on the patio. Is that correct, Mr. Skalski? And so we're going to be, pushing that with people. The community center's got their burgers. We've got the community school with brats in Strauss Park. We've got Georgetown Mountain Popovers down at the new marketplace area. And we'll have to say it with a French accent, so because it's across the street from the Hotel de Paris. Work on that, Jen. So we'll have the Asteria Bakery will be back. And then we've got a couple of other, smaller food items and stuff like that. So, but we were asked, and I think I mentioned this before, but we were asked by the community not to have food trucks because of the fundraising events and the businesses that could be making money off the food. So if Cooper's has anything that we can give out on the bus so that people know that they can come back by you or make reservations. And I suggested to the brewery at the north end of town in Noji, as I call it, that they may want to make sure that they've got some information at the events parking down there, just so that people know that they can come this way. Because I know downtown gets really crowded. So, and people run out of places to eat. Steve, if you got a thing you could put down in that events parking area, that says anything about come to Cornella Pass. I mean, I'm game, I'm open. We need to let people, my dogs, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I can't pronounce the word. I don't have it in front of me, but we will also be serving a mulled wine, warm wine drink as part of our Christmas festivities on the patio. So we're not just beer.
Is that one of your, is that product from Idaho Springs by any chance? Because we will have Slaymaker Cellars in Strauss Park just doing small tastings, similar to what has been done in the past with Decadent Saint out of Boulder. They've got a mead. And so they'll be doing small tastings and selling bottles that can't be opened, until they get home or wherever they go. It's not
We're actually making ours from pretty much scratch. Of course, we're not stomping on grapes for wine or anything, but it'll all be made on site, and it'll be kept warm there and everything. And we'll be serving full pours, not tasting. So.
Also, tiny cups. That's a bummer.
That would be amazing if you've got something like that, or if we can even add like some of those little pieces onto the events page, Jen, with that QR code, so that information can be shared. Because in this brochure, it doesn't say go to Guanella Pass and get chili on the patio. That just wasn't included. Neither is the community center, kind of thing. But I think that would be great information for our people to have. Our guests to have.
Definitely. I will add that as well.
The one thing that I think I know, and I'm speaking for the entire roundabout area right now, we have to make sure people are moving their cars to appropriate parking. We can't let people leave their cars. And that's like Family Dollars had problems. Like they kind of came and talked to me. They're like, people park here and walk to, and Paul and your visitor center. It's everybody down there. We have a major premium for parking. As it is, it's really hard. And I let people who are working doubles at Cooper's park in the lot so they don't have to walk in the dark to their cars. And so my daytime people can park off-site, but my nighttime people and my doubles can't. I make them park on the side, obviously, but there's, we can't afford to have cars sit there all day while people go back and forth on that bus. So we have to find a way to, I don't know how to, I mean, I think that's kind of on individual businesses, honestly, and the managers of those businesses to do that. But Paul,
We post event parking signs in the appropriate places and where the shuttle bus stops. But I agree with you, because to me, that's another thing that we've tried to combat over the years. If the town perhaps could post some no event parking here signs, or if the individual places, you know, like the visitor center and Coopers and stuff, especially since at the roundabout, we do plan to put a sign that will direct event parking, you know, as they go around to where they're supposed to park. So there's ample places.
yeah,
Just
for
street
sure.
parking. And we tell the shuttle drivers, if they see people walking, even if they're not near a stop, to stop and ask them if they want to jump on the bus or to
Yeah.
drop off on the bus. So, you know, we try to make it accommodating for the people. So just a thought.
No, for sure. And I know it's like, it's such a petty thing, but it is like
Petty.
the crux of the roundabout down there. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I don't think it's petty at all. I mean, I have 40 spaces. My employees don't, me or nor the people I work with park in our lot as it is. And we never do as a rule. It's not a thing for us. But one of the issues I have is the shuttle will stop and pick people up at my place. I don't want them to. I don't want them picking people up at the visitor center, because what that's doing is it's making a shuttle stop and it encourages parking there. And I've asked that every year since I've been there for the 10 whatever years I've been there. The other thing is that I'm ordering late no event parking signs this year, giant ones, because what else can you do? Normally I go out there, we try to talk to people and say, hey, can you move in? But it doesn't always work. So, but honestly, I don't want the visitor center being a shuttle stop at all. Please.
What about coming from
So-
6th Street?
Let me throw this in, but people won't know this until they see this brochure. It does say
It's
on this
on.
brochure with the shuttle bus, there's a no parking at the visitor center, 30-minute parking only. And the shuttle stop is actually scheduled by Circle K. before
works.
they need that. But that doesn't really help Coopers necessarily.
Well, it gets people to Coopers. It doesn't encourage them to park at Coopers, which I think is pretty good. Don't you, Amanda?
What we end up doing every year, and granted, obviously we've had a minute, is we basically tell people, like, you can move your car down to the event parking and get picked up there. But we're having those conversations with tables individually. And we have like a little bit of a speech. We're like, hi, are you catching a train? Great. If you're heading to Christmas market, head down to the event parking on the left side. You can leave your car there and you'll get picked up by a shuttle. So
Yeah, and we do that. I normally stand out in the parking lot and tell people that, but this year we don't have the staffing to have somebody stand in our parking lot and say, hey, are you here for the Christmas market? There's your parking over there.
Would you like me to
That's the challenge.
nix the stop at the roundabout? So the first stop is at the event parking lot, and then there is not another stop for the roundabout until, or for the bus, until the, they go further down by the annex, the county annex, and the little, bus stop there for Loveland, or it used to be Loveland's bus stop.
I don't think this is necessarily an issue, because especially if people are coming off of the bus. If people want to go to the visitor center and they're parked in, the lot behind Shop International, then they can get on the bus, ride to the visitor center, go get coffee next door at the Georgetown Loops coffee store.
Okay, I just wanted to ask. I mean, now would be the time to tell me.
Buy some tinsel and then get back on the bus.
Okay.
I think
all
that
right.
separation of having it at the Circle K where there is no parking
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Okay,
So like if you're
Then we'll leave
if you're picking up right at the lots, it kind of gives people the impression, oh, look, there's the shuttle there. Let's catch that. But if they're picking up I'm sorry that I know this is a thing that seems like it's nothing, but it 40 spaces. If they pick up across the street, it works perfectly, because it doesn't give that impression that this is where you go. They know that it's across the street and they can take advantage of the restaurants up there, the shops up there and everything else that's going on in our part of town, that part of town, rather.
I will emphasize
Personally.
that to the drivers this afternoon when we meet with them to not stop at the visitor center. People have to
Thank
walk
you.
across the roundabout. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be a Scrooge,
No,
but
I
it's
agree.
just-
I totally agree with you. I get it. So, thanks, guys.
So just to circle
Okay.
back to the website and marketing piece, so we can get that done. So we're gonna get the entertainment on there. Is the information about the bus route online anywhere?
I'll take anything that's in that brochure and put it on there following this, as well as the offerings of food and drink, et cetera. If there's anything else anybody wants on there, please email it to me. I'm happy to edit. It's easy to do.
We
But I
should
will get,
probably throw out a cursory email today to everybody and say last chance, so that way nobody's like, I saw Steve on
Right.
there and I wasn't on there. So
I will,
like,
I will do that as well. If anybody wants to add anything, to let me know.
like this morning. Or
Yeah,
like
sometimes
not this
merchants
morning.
have hot cocoa, free hot cocoa on the patio. I know Quilted Pearl used to do that. So that would give them an opportunity to get something like that in there. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Done.
Um,
Busy woman today. You will be.
Yeah, you've got a lot to do today, Jen Jordan.
That's okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. What else? Christmas market.
Can anyone ask for this share for Nancy in her stead?
I know, I would love to get that handled. I literally, give me like, I'm gonna go bang on her door really quick. You guys continue your Christmas market discussion. Give me like 45 seconds.
Because I'm a volunteer and I direct the sister organization, so maybe.
Is Nancy renting a bedroom over at the Coopers, or what's the deal there?
They're next door neighbors.
Oh,
No, they live next door to each other.
wake
I mean,
up.
Well, I think the Christmas market is an amazing thing that everybody does a great job. And even though sometimes there are like little weird annoyances like parking, it's not a big deal because this event is so important to our town. It is who we are as a town and it's beautiful. Thank you.
Did you find
Oh,
her,
you're fast.
Amanda? So let me ask this. Maybe can I step away from this and ask as a volunteer for HGI so that we can deal with this? Oh, she's calling.
I'm trying to call her.
Good luck.
Mary, I ask all the time. I just don't vote.
Okay, so I'll recuse myself from voting and I'll just ask. But let's see if Amanda gets her.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so
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 yeah,
I-
that's a good plan. Because we
Okay.
need to get done.
So Mary Smith, volunteer on behalf of HGI. I'm asking business promotions to help financially support our upcoming Christmas market. As you know, we incur several thousands of dollars of expenses, and we appreciate the town assisting us. The shuttle bus that we provide free to our guests is approximately $1,000. We've incurred about at least $1,500 minimum in printing and photo opportunities. We've incurred advertising in newspapers is an $800 bill. We did get a deal from Timberline where they're supporting us with the porta potties for only a couple $100 because we put their name on the brochure. So for some good PR for them. And, obviously miscellaneous expenses. The entertainment always costs us. However, we do take in some money from the vendors that usually offset the entertainment costs. So I believe that business promotions has a line item for, is it $1,500 or $2,000?
100.
15? 15? 15?
15.
So if you would be so kind as to help us out this year, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. End of quote.
Yes, Pablo. Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Okay, carry on. All right, so for the minutes, please note that Selectman Smith recused herself from her position on business promotions for this proposal. and was representing HGI. Any discussion? We do this every year, guys. It's budgeted. Mary Sim said we were green lighted for it. So unless somebody's super mad about giving HGI money for the biggest event of the entire year that hasn't happened for 2 years, can I please have a motion?
I move.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. How much, is there an amount that I missed that you guys are asking for?
It's $1,500. Sorry, that.
Okay,
should have been a motion.
okay, thank you.
Do you want me to restate the motion?
No, Paul motioned, and then who seconded?
Steve.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please make sure that it says that I didn't vote, that I abstained from voting and recused myself.
Yeah, I have that you recused yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for getting that done. And unless anybody has anything else, I think my last question was volunteers. Are you all covered on volunteers, Mary, or no one's ever covered on volunteers?
We actually, I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. We had a lot of people who volunteered to help with the bonfire and the s'mores, which isn't going to happen. So I think we're okay there. We'll just be, putting signs out early Saturday morning for the parking and shuttle, or late Friday night, when it's not, really pertinent to what's going on that day. Oh, just so that we're going to have traffic cones on 6th Street that indicate where the vendors set up for Saturday morning. I'll put those out Saturday morning. The street will be closed anyway, but then, or will be shortly thereafter. So especially Kevin, so you know why there's a bunch of traffic cones out there. It's really just to designate where the different vendors set up with their canopies. So,
Hey, Mary, does Rose Street remains open, correct?
well, we block it, at between 5th and 7th. It's always the little stubs of 5th, between 5th and 7th for both Rose and Taos are closed.
Oh, is that what we've done in the past?
Yeah, but Argentine is open, so they can find their way to you by going down 5th Street. And, that's the tight corner, unfortunately, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This event is so walkable. It's, the street, this is the one event that I think that the street closures, because of the mass of people, it forces people up the side streets in ways that we don't normally see. I think it's going to be a really, really amazing weekend. It's gotten a ton of press. It was on 9 News again last night. There's been obviously the poll that is that everyone's been voting on every day. There's been a lot of good social media press. So I think it's going to be a really good event. So, for you, Jen Jordan, I would say if you could just prioritize today that website stuff. And if, I know Kyle is really, really busy, but, if you guys can maybe make sure that gets tackled and that would be the priority for today, I think, for sure. Because they're coming. So hooray. Awesome. Okay. Before we move on from Christmas market, anything else? Well, the next time we talk, we will be recapping this event and hopefully we will be saying amazing stuff. I think we will be for sure. So well done, HGI and all the volunteers, and exciting that we get to have this year. So, okay. Manager of Marketing and Events update. On the brochures, guys, I'm just going to kind of tackle that part for Jen. We need to look at a couple of pieces on them before they are printed. And so there's just a couple of little things that have to happen. And we will get those handled this week. And the same, obviously, Kyle and I are going to meet on the banners this week, or not this week. That's not happening this week. Next week is what I think we said. I have sample banners from the old and the new on me, and he and I are going to look at them and kind of make a game plan for getting those fixed up for 2022. So just to let everybody know where we're at with that stuff. And then I will turn it over to Jen for the rest of her events update.
Well, events wise, I think we covered most of those. Previous to me, obviously, big projects to support Bighorn, tree lighting, and Christmas market, all in execution, and in all of the marketing events. I will definitely focus my morning on getting all of those things done for Christmas market to make sure that is all good to go. Other than events, I know tourism conference was on there. I had the privilege of attending 3 days of tourism conference, Paul, in Pueblo, and it was actually really informative. I really enjoyed some of the breakout sessions that really focused on economics and things that we'll probably talk about in a few minutes, but just on the struggles that everybody's facing and how they're impacting tourism in all of our mountain towns, and what the similarities are and what the differences are, and also some unique strategies to possibly tackle some of those issues. So I thought that was well worth the 3 days. I'm really appreciative of the ability to have had a scholarship to go. Other than that, in the events, we have a big tourism workshop tomorrow in Idaho Springs that some of you will be present for. We'll go over many things. It's a long day, but we will definitely also tackle those surveys that you saw, both that went out to stakeholders and residents, and kind of what the response is. This is all in an effort to receive a specific grant. So that should be a pretty good event for tomorrow. I have my social media presence and control has increased dramatically over the last week and a half, perhaps I would say. So I'm building a lot of that, really trying to respond to people. Like I said, directing people to the events page whenever asked, is Christmas market happening this year? Are we having this? Which gets sent on social media quite a bit. And so my consistent drive is just to keep pushing to that events calendar and making sure that obviously the information is present and accurate. So I ask a lot, but if there's anything you want added to that, please let me know. I want to keep it full. I want to keep people coming back. Other than that, I think that's about it. I'm looking forward to my first Christmas market. I enjoyed my first Bighorn and my first tree lighting immensely, so I can only imagine that this will just top all of that.
One thing I wanted to follow up with you on, Jen, when you were out doing your merchant visits on 6th Street, Cindy Neely had asked if anybody wanted the furniture in front of their spots for Christmas market. Did anyone indicate that they wanted out, or do we want more out, so we could get that set up before this weekend?
It was a lot of somewhat indifference to it. I didn't get anyone that specifically wanted more than we have, but I might add that to my email today, my outgoing email regarding things that people want specifically for the market, and see if I get a better response that way. But nothing, I want to, let me get back to you on that. There may be one person, but otherwise it was pretty indifferent. Everybody was happy with what they essentially had.
All that furniture is sitting in storage, and
I know
was we got that grant for. So as much of it as possible to come out. Hi, Kevin.
And quite honestly, it holds up amazingly well in the wind. Like, I was super impressed with that, because that was the feedback that I got from a lot of people, is it'll blow away, it'll blow into the, those general comments. But I thought that what's out there hasn't really moved at all, unless someone else has a different take on that.
I agree with you, Mary, on the comment. I'd like more out. Kevin, go ahead.
So we have 2 sets in the 400 block at the public parking lot next to Hotel de Paris. And just from casual observation, they're used daily and all day long. And so these fixtures do shape behavior, and it's positive behavior. It brings people to a spot where they linger. So if any merchant is on the fence about a set of table and chairs, I say go for it, do it, because people will use them. It brings you an audience. No one sat in that length of block because there were no features. Now that there are site features, people are using it, and it's new people, I would say every 20 to 60 minutes. It's amazing how many people use it. So push those chairs out, do what you can to improve the visitor experience. They enjoy it.
Okay. No, that's, I mean, that Cindy worked really hard to get that grant for us, and I would love to honor that effort by getting more of the furniture out for her, for sure. And I think this is obviously a great weekend for it to get used. I mean,
I would
is it,
say for sure, nobody's going to mind having more put out there. I didn't get any feedback like, no, don't do it. So
okay,
I think that's a good idea.
then maybe, after, I'll try and call Steve after. And I know I feel really bad piling on with this week with everything that everyone has going on, but I don't know where it is to go get it out. So if anyone could potentially, maybe from Jen, why do you think that that's too much to ask Road and Bridge with everything else that's going on, if they could maybe get any of the furniture out?
I mean, we can ask them. I'm not sure where it's stored, but yeah, we
I
would
don't
need to
either.
do that
Where
real
is it?
soon. We need to ask Cindy, I guess. I'm not sure where it's at.
Okay.
Hey,
You
can I ask a question, while we're on the subject of pedestrians on 6th Street and whatnot? I was in Idaho Springs yesterday, noticed they are taking everything down, but but I also heard they're gonna keep it closed to traffic or something. Does anybody know what's going on there?
I thought it was being reopened completely for winter. Primarily because the goal of it was to increase outdoor dining options. And obviously, I mean, although you wouldn't know it with the climate at the moment we're experiencing, it's not necessarily conducive for outdoor dining. And the merchants don't want to pay for, rightfully so, the freakish amount of heat that you have to provide to keep that area dining appropriate. And so I think I actually had gotten some not so great feedback from someone about the length of the closure that was a hospitality merchant, basically kind of saying it kind of, it would overstate its welcome. So my understanding was that it's being taken down completely, but I can't say that for certain unless they voted on something recently.
No, thanks.
How many table chair sets do we want out? That is, I don't even know how, I mean, I would say however many we have, we have a lot. She got us a ton of furniture. I don't feel right, like just picking a number. Anyone who's down on 6th Street more frequently than me, maybe Kevin, Mary, Steve.
Okay, well, we just wanted to,
Yeah, sure.
get a hold of Scott and see if they can start getting them out. We were just wondering,
I mean, if they could maybe just strategically place them. I don't know. I mean, like it's
okay.
Increasing the number, maybe after the meeting, I'll try and run up there and like measure really quick the ones between Kevin's place and then see if we can make a determination that way.
Mary and I are going up to test the power on the Turtle. So we could potentially count, or I can, while we're up testing the Turtle power, we can count them and figure it out from there if everyone's okay with that.
I'll ask Cindy too. Kevin suggested that, and that was already in the front of my mind. So I will double check with her and see, because she did do the calculations. So okay, awesome. So that will be another on today's agenda. Sorry, everybody. It's Christmas market. You're right, Mary. The weather this weekend is going to lend itself to a absolutely bananas market. I mean, I can already tell from my reservations, I can't take parties over 5 the entire day on Saturday. I cannot take a single party 6 or larger for this upcoming Saturday. I think we have 131 reservations when I looked last for Saturday. So they're coming and they will need somewhere to sit because I'm going to be out of chairs. So, all right. Anything else on your marketing and events update, Jen Jordan?
Nope, I think that's it from my end,
Okay.
unless I'm missing something.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that the CTO was exciting and that you were able to go and be a part of that event. And who, just out of curiosity, who from the commission's going tomorrow to the Tommy Knocker event?
I'm enrolled, but I don't know. I may not be able to make it. And so Jen, if you could just,
I'm going.
you're going? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going. So
Supposed to go, but I'm sending a proxy.
that's fine. It's exciting.
Yeah.
We'll be nice to her. What are we renting snow cannons for, Paul?
Oh, that was a thing that was, I put that in the thing so it wouldn't have. It was something that happened a long time ago that someone rented snow machines and it was a colossal failure. Never mind. For Christmas market, it was another warm
I
year.
know, it's gonna be, people are gonna be walking around the market in flip-flops. It's gonna be
Yeah.
weird. Although I will
Sorry,
say,
that was just
great.
snide.
you're fine. We can always make snow. Okay, so the mission statement for the Business Promotion Commission. I know this was something I kind of started and I wanted to, some feedback on. I haven't heard a ton of feedback from you guys. It doesn't need to be a thing. Mary, what are you saying, Mary?
Maybe we should wait until after we have that work session meeting in another month or so, because that might help us build that mission statement.
That's a good call. So we'll continue to table that. And then the last thing is Jen Jordan is going to send out the workforce support discussion survey questions today. As we held that because as you all are aware, there was a multitude of surveys that all came out at the same time. We were a little survey heavy for a minute. We had county housing survey, we had 2 tourism surveys, we had a health survey. So yeah, that I think our stakeholders were a little survey fatigued. So she held that survey back because it's really important for the success of this project, and she is going to send that out this week, either today or tomorrow, if we all agree that's a good time, or should she wait till after the first of the year? If you guys recall, this was a survey to discuss the marketing and staffing needs of businesses and how this commission could support basically marketing campaign and using the tools we have available to us, as well as building new tools to try and cultivate new employees, kind of giving them, a little bit of an incentive to come to the area, giving them, showing why Georgetown is a good place to work, and hopefully improving the outcome for some of our local businesses. We already have great resources like the website. We've got, basically the outreach efforts that currently exist within individual businesses, but this was more of a targeted marketing campaign. So do you guys think we should do the survey now, or should we wait till 2022?
2022.
22? Steve, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I think that between Christmas market and the holidays, forget it.
Steve agrees. Okay,
Agreed.
Kevin.
Yes, from the other room.
Okay, cool. Katie, Kyle, sounds like a plan to you. Okay, so we'll hold till 2022, and that also could maybe be a topic in our goal of having a work session meeting with all the commissions. All right, so that was the next thing I wanted to discuss and kind of make a plan for. In meeting with Jen Jordan and Mary to discuss kind of the recap of events, basically one of the determinations that we made is that one of the things that hinders the success of events coming together, effortlessly is the number of different entities that are handling events. And there's certainly a good reason for that, and that exists largely out of practicality and just kind of a system that has existed for a really long time. But we need to be able to streamline our efforts, and particularly Jen's efforts, into getting her to be able to be more of a point person in events. And a good example is like the tree lighting recently, and some of the things that she was kind of having to tackle last minute. So the idea was that we would maybe have a big work session in 2022 with basically all of the different event planning entities talk about mutual goals and try to streamline a calendar so she's aware, and then figuring out what her role and our role, ultimately business promotions, because there's a lot of misconception over what we do. And I saw that as evidenced in the tree lighting. People were like, business promotions, why didn't you do this? And I'm like, well, that wasn't really our event, people. That's kind of why we didn't do that. We fund events, we support events, we give volunteers to events, but we're not always necessarily the direct point of contact on events. Bighorn Sheep has its own subcommittee. You know, Friends of the Library handles mountain jams, the rec center does events. So basically the idea was to try to do a work session with a really tight agenda, get a 2022 calendar put together with all the events on it, and try and establish some organization and point as far as if we're just financial support or if we're volunteer and execution support. And I would like to hear your thoughts.
I think that's a great idea. It would be helpful, I guess, if it would go a little bit beyond just hearing what you said, Amanda, where it would be kind of events calendar, who the point of contact is from each place or each event, and kind of a brief description of what the plan is. I guess the bottom line is we all kind of know a bunch of stuff from participating every year and being around, but I think it'd be helpful, to have it be a little bit more expanded with the content being provided by each event to say, here's what we're thinking. Because again, maybe there'll be a lot of cross-pollination of ideas if the tree lighting group can get feedback from anybody who's hearing feedback from people, then maybe that'll keep things improving. So,
Paul, go ahead.
I agree with Steve. One of the things I think, though, I love that you're doing this. Some of these events, people are aging out of them, and they've always been in charge of everything. 4th of July is one, and or retiring from them. One, I think some homework to ask everybody to bring to it that you're offering this to is to set up sort of their outline project management list, their task lists for you, and their as you were saying, their point of contact or their task point people for it. It's something that we're going to do. Because like when I started working for Sheep Festival, it was me and wildlife, and the town was just a little part of it. And now we have a bunch of organizations, and I have new people coming in to help me with stuff. So we are making sure that we're expanding our project management list. And I think that that's something that if everybody were to bring that, and Jen were to have that for herself anyway, she can know what her level of tasks are. Also, then we can keep that little notebook like we talked about with the 4th of July and everything else. And that way it makes people who've always just gone, well, we've just always done it this way. They know exactly who's doing what, when, where. And I think that would be the biggest thing to come out of it. And if they could bring the outline first, we can work on the details of it during that meeting a little bit, or after anyway.
Well, and that's kind of what sparked this conversation was actually the tree lighting. And like, for example, the kids, the lights normally come on when the kids are singing O Tannenbaum.
Right.
No one told the people lighting the lights that. And it was a whole bunch of people who were lighting the lights. I actually forgot about that until it was pointed out to me way after. I was like, oh yeah, they do that, huh? I totally forgot. But I mean, it's an event we've never run per se. So, and there wasn't, so it's like it was a really simple communication thing that if we had the right flow chart, whoever was lighting the lights would go, oh, cool, on the walkie-talkie, the kids are singing O Tannenbaum, great, let's do this. And so that it was just, it's those kind of little details and things that, in the parade, I know I can run the parade super well. Jen can now run the parade super well, but like we know all these weird, dumb things like don't put the horses by the brass band, don't put the Republicans next to the Democrats, don't put
the bikes behind the old ladies on the
exactly
zoo band.
Exactly. So there's like all these weirdnesses, but if like, Jen and I aren't here next year, like who does that? So it's those types of things. I mean, I'm expecting to be here and I think Jen's going to be here. So I'm, but hopefully no buses hit us. It's a streamline of service that would help everybody execute stronger and better, and also make our events calendar cohesive. And again, we're not going to run the borough race, but what is our level of support for the borough race? I mean, obviously we support it financially. And this year I listened to 25 borough race calls for like 2 months. So it's, all those little things that like that I think we could do better. And that's kind of something I would like us to see in 2022.
I think it'd be awesome. And I love the idea too, because we now have a Jen Jordan working with us who can help us keep all that stuff together. Instead of just, because even when I was chair of Parks and Rec, it was Beth Luther who's going, you turn on the lights now, Paul, because she knew exactly when things were going on. And I didn't know.
I was stubbornly waiting for 6 o'clock. Even when they told me to turn them on, I was like, but it's 5:58 and 30 seconds. Because of course I didn't know.
Right.
So,
and this will also
I
help her with her calendars, that nobody's just going, well, of course the Sheep Festival is the second Saturday of every November. Of course it is. And why isn't the marketing up for it yet? Well, did you remember to give Jen the marketing? And she'll kind of know what's going on with that too. So it's great. Anyway, never mind.
No, so the point of this is exactly why this sort of streamline needs to occur, and how we can all support that, because we've gotten a lot more efficient, mostly because we do have people that we can go, here, take care of this now, and it's amazing. But we have opportunities to be definitely more organized and to execute better, and that's part of what hinders us. Is we're kind of like, okay, well, we can execute, but then it relies on volunteers to make that happen. And yeah, so Katie, go ahead.
Didn't we, when I was in Jen's role, didn't we put together like a basic calendar of events that was like bulleted and in order?
Mm-hmm. We did. And
I still have that. So the dates part is taken care of. But and on that same note, and I was going to say this before, like for each event, I'm creating its own binder of all of the information. So it's not like on a Post-it somewhere in someone's glove box or in their head. So we can just refer back and look at that. And then I think what Amanda's suggesting will be super helpful to completing those. But then also not only have the concept and the ideas, but for each person's event, who they want the contact person to be and how they want me to be involved in that, so that that's all super clear in 2022 moving forward. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and hopefully, and this is something we can maybe talk about tomorrow too, because obviously we want to be reprised to county events and stuff that is specifically county driven. Not only so that we can plan accordingly, but how, again, I'll use the borough race as an example of a countywide event that takes a ton of effort from multiple municipalities to pull off. And it's a really time consuming planning process that you need, again, we're never going to take over for Pack Borough Racing, but we want to, Cass is here. Hi, Cass. But knowing what I know now after kind of running that whole thing like blindly this year from like a Georgetown perspective, and all of the things that went into that, and like realizing last minute that there was communications over what roads had to be shut down, where the racers were going to start. And those are things I was like, wait, we do that? Oh crap. I didn't know we did that. And so if we can get those types of things organized, I think it will serve us a lot better in the long run. And so I think that we'll, if everyone's good with moving forward on this, because it will take a little bit of planning and execution on our end, obviously, the goal would be to have it early quarter 2022, maybe like, I mean, I would say the latest early February to get everybody together. And then obviously we're including parks. I mean, really every commission in Georgetown would be invited and stakeholders would be invited. And then I know I will need help with the list because I don't want to leave anybody off, but it was like the rec district, the school, the library, the trust. Who am I forgetting? I'm sure I'm forgetting people.
HGI, all kinds.
HGI.
HDI, Visitor Center, Energy Museum, Hotel.
Mhm. So basically
A bunch.
that list of stakeholders. Pardon?
I just said there are a bunch. We'll just have this giant list. We'll get them in. And we can
Oh, yeah.
use the,
Oh.
we could use the Heritage Center for a space. We can use the,
That'd be great.
to make, if it's not
Would that be-
remote.
Okay. And again, I think
Yeah,
the
if we
goal is to
book
keep,
it.
like,
I mean,
okay. Well, let's settle on a date right now so we can get it committed, and then I'm gonna pull my calendar here, and then we can start talking about the booking and the location.
You're set up to do a hybrid though, too, Paul, aren't you? If we were to have a
Yeah,
meeting at the Heritage Center
Because that would be,
and
depending on the number of
and
people,
Zoom.
whether or not we have to be upstairs, and that's a whole different thing with microphones and stuff. But yeah, I can do a hybrid no matter how, because we have the Zoom room. And then I also have a streaming system if we have to, but yeah, absolutely.
okay. So, if we wanted to get through one more meeting to finalize details, I mean, so our next, we obviously have January 5th as our next meeting, in 2022, our first meeting of next year. We could try to do it sometime around the 19th, which would be 2 weeks later. Or we could do like the 26th of January. I'm specifically picking Wednesdays because it's our meeting day, but I am open to any day that anyone feels strongly. Paul, shaking your head, no.
I'm in Vegas on the 26th.
Okay.
I think if
I
we're
need to see when
expecting, if we're expecting people to participate, we're also gonna have to push it to maybe perhaps a more evening time when everyone is off work, and limit the attendance, whereas 1 or 2 top representatives from each of the commissions and or organizations. And then obviously not compete with when those commissions meet and might not be able to attend. So just so that you know, January is going to be a heavy month for the board because we're trying to find a new town administrator. So if you stick with your February work session, that might, I mean, that's just the board, but.
Oh, for sure. That's important.
But that's a lot on the plates of other, people within the town organization to.
What if we did February 9th? That's a Tuesday, that's a Wednesday. That's the second Wednesday in February. That would give us 2 meetings to get our calendar organized. We can put our invites out at the end of this month. We'll get
I would
that.
ask that you push, I have the calendar in front of me for the town admin thing, and the week after that would actually not be a conflict with anything that's going on.
The 16th,
Yeah.
do it on the 16th. I
Better
think
for me.
if that would give us enough time to organize it well, get our list of attendees done. Steve, honestly, we're on to minutes after this discussion. So unless you want to jump back in, we're reviewing minutes and then we're adjourning. I think we probably have, I would say 15 minutes tops left. So it's up to you.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. You're good with that date, the 16th of February, Steve?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be alive then, but yeah, February 16th, yeah.
We're a dismal group. It's in the morning. So, okay, so if we do February 16th, and then it'll give us time to get our list of attendees, maybe we'll work on like not a save the date, but like some type of like something we can get out to stakeholders towards the end of this month, just to remind them, and then we'll do formal invitations the first week of January, get an RSVP list together, and then Paul, you and I could talk on the side about location and what that would look like from a cost perspective.
Free.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah, that's part of our community outreach.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we will put this on our agendas working through for the next couple months, but we'll plan on the date being February 16th for a, what do we want to call this event, friends? A stakeholder events meeting?
Work session.
And work session is very important.
Yeah.
No, we'll be a quorum, so we have to call it a work session because we're not voting. Because there will be nothing to vote on. So, but we will have to have this posted because we will be a quorum. So work session. So stakeholder work session.
Event stakeholder work session.
And special events work session. I mean, all these are special events.
Okay.
Events.
So event stakeholder work session will be the title of this project, and we'll plan on February 16th. Okay. Before we move on, does anyone have anything else before we move into minutes and approval of the agenda? Or we already approved the agenda. We did that an hour and 15 minutes ago. Approval of the minutes is what I meant to say. This new Trader Joe's coffee is not very strong. I'm really let down. I need to really up my coffee game. This is depressing. All right. Anyone have anything in the review of the minutes?
I sent some minor corrections to Gen Y.
Okay. I did not have anything. Okay. All right, if I could have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
And a second. Anybody? Give me a second.
Why is it so hard for everybody to do this? This
I
is
don't
like
believe
so easy.
Kyle and I are allowed to.
Yeah, you are. You're.
No, because they're alternates.
If a regular member's here, then they're supposed to do it. If there's no regular, then the alternates. No offense, you guys.
No,
I
it's
mean,
it's
we're not-
yeah.
Come on.
I
Paul,
We don't
give
have
me
a quorum
second.
anymore without the two of them, so they have to do it.
Oh yeah, because we lost Steve. So they
Well,
yes. So,
when we have a regular member, the regular member does it. If
So-
you know, is
Second.
how it's supposed to be.
Thanks.
I second the
Paul.
motion.
And actually, I'm so
Just
before I
always
forget,
doing it.
Jen, can we make sure that Katie gets listed as an alternate on the next agenda?
Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Can we also
And
review?
Mary, I'm sorry,
Okay, let's do this first.
I didn't get Mary. When did you send your corrections? Did you send those
I emailed
like
them to you last
today?
night or yesterday, late
last
yesterday.
night? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for those. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so we had a motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. All right, motion carries. Okay, you guys, really good meeting. Excited for Christmas market this weekend, and yeah. Oh yes, sir, Mr. Boat.
Speaking of alternates and people being in attendance, I would think that we should review attendance of our meetings and what our bylaws say about maintaining a leadership status as a board, as a commission member, so that we can clear space for people who are willing to be here and do the work.
Agreed, and that's a discussion that has Gen Y and I have had recently. So I will hopefully have an update for 2022 on that.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, and Katie is listed on the
Oh, she
agenda
is?
as an alternate member.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
she's on
I'm
there.
sorry. Yeah, my fault.
You're good.
So sorry. Thank you. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, cool. And anything else before we adjourn? Cass, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor? It is 9:21 a.m. and the meeting is adjourned. Thanks for attending, everybody. See you next year. Thank you, guys.
It's my hand up. Weird.